This is Colin O'Keefe for LXPN TV. A bizarre data leak has caused quite a stir across the LexBlog network, as an insurance company in New York was fined $1.2 million for returning leased copiers with sensitive health information still on their hard drives. Joining me to explain how this type of thing could happen and what companies can learn from it is Stephen Fox, Chair of Post & Shell's Information Technology Practice Group, co-chair of the firm's Data Protection and Breach Practice Group, and also author on the Health IT Law blog. Stephen, first, can you explain how something like this happened and why it's such a problem here?
Sure. Good afternoon, Colin. You called it bizarre, and I guess in a way it is a little bizarre because it's not something that is sort of on a lot of people's radar. But what happened is Affinity Health Plan, which is, as you mentioned, it's a not-for-profit managed care plan in the New York area, filed a breach report in 2010 with the HHS Office for Civil Rights, as required by the HITECH Act. So they did disclose this voluntarily, which is the way it's supposed to work. And what happened is they were notified by CBS Evening News, who was doing a story on this exact kind of occurrence. That is, what CBS did is they went and bought a bunch of used photocopiers, and they found all kinds of information, not just, in this case, they found confidential medical information, but they also found information from law enforcement, from a U.S. Attorney's Office in New York State that also had given up one of these. So what happened is Affinity had leased hundreds of these photocopiers. The leases were up, and they returned them to the leasing company, and that's when CBS bought it. And they looked on the hard drive and found that there was this confidential medical information, PHI, protected health information, and Affinity estimated that up to almost 345,000 individuals had their medical information on these hard drives that were in these photocopiers.
Wow. So second, what advice do you have for companies when it comes to personal health information and preventing data leaks? How can companies make sure this type of thing doesn't happen to them?
Well, I think the takeaway is pretty clear, Colin. That is that HIPAA is an ongoing responsibility. It's not something that it's a one-time event. Okay, we can check that off our list. We've done our HIPAA analysis. It's ongoing. It involves constant vigilance, continuous education, and assessment of security risks and vulnerabilities of your organization. I think that the biggest problem I see with when I speak on this and talk to people is that they check it off. Okay, they educated their the employees, and they only do it maybe for the new employees. But it's ongoing. They've got to educate people all the time, not just once when they first start, but every year they've got to continue to do that. And this is really what happens when when an organization sort of gets lax in their privacy and security policies and procedures. Because the thing they didn't do as part of the HIPAA security rule is identify potential security risks and vulnerabilities, just like the ongoing training. That's an ongoing thing because these risks and vulnerabilities with technology are constantly expanding. And so, when you called it bizarre, it's because people don't realize that when you make a photocopy of something, that is stored in not everyone, but in a lot of photocopiers, there's a hard drive. And if you have protected health information on there, you have got to get rid of that before you return it to the leasing company. And it's really the failure to do that. It's not just expensive that it resulted in this $1.2 million fine, but as part of the remediation, Affinity agreed with the government that they were going to use best efforts, which means they were going to have to work really hard to retrieve all of the hundreds of photocopiers that they had, try to find them and get the hard drives out of there and clean them. And plus, they've got to send notices to almost 345,000 individuals. So this is going to cost them a huge amount of money. And the takeaway is it's always better and cheaper and the right thing to do this ahead of time and avoid these kind of problems.
Absolutely. As with so many things in life, it pays to be proactive. Once again, that was Stephen Fox of Post and Shell. For more of his insight, be sure to visit healthitlawblog.com. And of course, for more of these LXBN TV video interviews, along with curated commentary from the LexBlog Network's more than 8,000 members, be sure to visit us at the new look LXBN.com. Thank you for joining me today, Stephen.
Thank you, Colin. Bye-bye.